You're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
It is a cool, crisp Thursday evening here in New York City, and it is time for baseball as the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Boston Red Sox in the final game of a three-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball. Along with David Cohn, I'm Michael Kay. Well, the first two games of this series, well, they've not gone the way the Yankees wanted them to go. They've lost the first two to the Red Sox, and now they have the veteran on the mound, Andy Pettitte. They're expecting great things out of Andy. Last year, he looked good, and then he got hurt.
Well, he did, and that was a big blow for the Yankees last year when Andy Pettitte sort of took a line drive right off of his ankle, which caused the fracture. As you see, he goes right down. That was a big blow. He did come back at the end of the year, but as far as this year goes, Andy looked great in spring. I think what he showed last year was that he can pitch as well as he ever has. He's more consistent. He works both sides of the plate better. I think Andy's a big part of that rotation right in the middle.
And the career numbers, they tell you all you need to know. These are the cold, hard facts brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. He's second in starts in Yankee history, third in wins, fourth in innings, second in strikeouts, and he trails another left-hander, Whitey Ford, in starts and in strikeouts. David, he's pretty important to what the Yankees are trying to do this year. We know with all the injuries, their offense is a little less than what it was in the last couple of years, so all of the pitchers have to step up. Andy Pettitte is the oldest starter in Major League Baseball at 40, but he can't pitch that way.
No, he can't. They need him to take the ball every 5 days. I think they kind of got a break because he didn't have a full year last year. It's probably the reason why he's back this year, but I really believe that he's pitching better than he ever has in his career. There's a point where he threw harder, but he's never had better control. What we saw at the end of last year and what we saw in spring training is an Andy Pettitte who knows how to pitch. His velocity's fine, still around 90 miles an hour, but mixing it up, back and forth, both sides of the plate. I think in some ways he's better now than he's ever been.
Well, he'd like a little offensive help, and the Yankee offense kind of got a little something going toward the end of last night's game. Vernon Wells was right in the middle of it. He had 3 hits and a big home run. We'll talk about him when we get back on Yes. The Yankees took a flyer on Vernon Wells, making a trade with the Angels for him. He's their left fielder, and yesterday it paid off a bit.
Well, it did, and he had a good spring training. The Yankee scouts thought he's healthy again. He's got his bat speed back, and judging from last night and this particular swing, I think they're right, because that ball was smoked. That gave the Yankees some hope last night, and Vernon Wells, so far, so good.
So 3 hits last night. He had a walk and a run scored on opening day. This is what he's done in 15 big league seasons. 273, 260 home runs, almost 1,000 ribbies, a 3-time All-Star, and 3 Gold Gloves as well. If he can approach that, the Yankees would love it. When we get back, Andy Pettitte will be on the mound for the New York Yankees. We'll have lineups, first pitch baseball. That's coming up next, right here on Yes. brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Cold evening here in New York City. Final game of this three-game set. The Yankees have taken the field. Andy Pettitte is on the mound. 40-year-old lefty warming up. Let's take a look at the Red Sox starting lineup that he is going to face. Red Sox won the first two games of this series. They will lead off their center fielder, Jacoby Ellsbury. Shane Victorino in right field bat second. Batting third and playing second base, Dustin Pedroia. The cleanup hitter, the first baseman, Mike Napoli. Johnny Gomes, the DH, will bat fifth. Batting sixth, playing third base, Will Middlebrooks. Jackie Bradley Jr. at left field will bat seventh. The number 8 hitter is the catcher, David Ross. And Jose Iglesias, the shortstop, will bat ninth.
And here's the big lefty from Louisiana. Number 46. That's a good number too, Michael. Last year, 12 starts, 5-4, 2.87 ERA, solid 75 1/3 innings, 21 to 69 walks to strikeouts. And tonight's pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. And been around the block? Yes, he has. Among active pitchers, Andy ranks first in both wins and innings pitched. 245 wins, 3,130 innings. And true Yankee? Yeah, once again, you got it. He's the only pitcher to be drafted by the Yankees to win 200 Major League games. 208 with the Yankees, 245 overall. And swing if you dare, but 69 Ks in 2012, 55 of them came on swinging third strikes.
Pettitte is ready. Ellsbury's ready. Now let's do it here in the Bronx. First pitch is a strike. We're underway. Mike DeMuro is the home plate umpire. Last night, Ellsbury 1 for 4, a walk and a run scored. 0-2. High fly ball. Center field. Gardner is there. 1 out. Check out the Yankee defense. And since we've already seen Brett Gardner, we'll start there in the outfield. Flanking him on either side is Vernon Wells in left and Ichiro Suzuki in right. Infield, Euclid, Nunez, Cano, and Overbay, third and first. Cervelli is behind the plate, and Andrew Eugene Pettitte is on the mound. Here's Shane Victorino. Two more hits last night. 2 for 5, a ribby, a run scored, stolen base. Signed a 3-year free agent deal with the Red Sox during the offseason.
See, good early signs. Andy with a little life, little movement on that fastball at 91 miles an hour.
Count 1-2. Hurt the Yankees so far. 4 for 11 with 4 ribbies this series. And another base hit for Victorino. He seems to just dunk them in there. But they all count the same, so Victorino with a 1-out single. I told you it's a chilly evening here in the Bronx, so let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. 47 degrees, 42% humidity, 11 miles per hour is the wind, and it is chilly out and also partly cloudy. Here is Dustin Pedroia. Count 0-1.
Of course, one of the big advantages to Andy Pettitte is his ability to hold runners and that pickoff move. So Shane Victorino going to pay close attention. As you see, not too big of a lead.
Another dunker in the right field. And Ichiro runs it down with a second out. Andy did make it back from his injury last year, but he wanted to have a full season. He was jonesing for that, and as David said in the open, it's one of the reasons he came back. He wants to pitch. He didn't want to be on the DL. That wasn't what his return was all about. Mike Napoli grounds one through the left side for a base hit. It's time for the Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile Index. David told you 245 wins for Andy Pettitte, and that's the most wins of any active pitcher. 46 ahead of Roy Halladay. His teammate CC Sabathia with 191.
It's really hard to believe if you think about the long history of the Yankees. You get a look at CC right there. You know, Babe Ruth, great player. Derek Jeter, all those hits. That he's the only pitcher ever to win 200 wins, 200 games as a Yankee.
Here's Johnny Gomes. Now, the Red Sox have hurt the Yankees in the first two games by getting 2-out hits. So let's see if Andy can bear down and get Gomes. And that one gets through the legs of Cervelli, and the runners will move up. And here comes the runner from third. And he's too aggressive as Victorino is tagged out by Cervelli. Victorino tried to get Cervelli sleeping, but he pounced on the ball and made the tag to end the inning. Cervelli sees what's going on, hustles towards the plate, and makes the tag before Victorino could touch home plate. It was that close. We go to the bottom of the first. Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. He was clearly out, so Mike DeMuro got the call right, and then Cervelli kind of rolls over his legs. And you could see from this replay, David, this was not Butterfield waving him home. This is all Victorino.
Certainly was, and almost caught everybody napping. You see Andy's not around, and Cervelli with a great recovery. And he makes Victorino pay, too, with a little roadblock.
All right, so the Red Sox don't score, and now the Yankees will take their turn against Ryan Dempster. Yankees starting lineup is presented by our good friends at Lexus. Brett Gardner in center field will lead off. Robinson Cano at second, batting third, playing third. Youkilis, Hafner to the DH, will clean up, batting fifth. Playing left field, Vernon Wells. Ichiro Suzuki in right will bat sixth. Batting seventh, playing shortstop, Eduardo Nunez. Lyle Overbay at first base, bats eighth, and batting ninth, and catching, Francisco Cervelli. So here's Brett Gardner. And they play him in on the grass at third. There's a strike.
See, Dempster had a nice year last year, both with the Cubs and then traded over to Texas. Only 12 wins, but a really good ERA and solid numbers. I'm going to bring you the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. And stage fright, well, in 5 career starts versus the Yankees, he's 0-4 with a 7.62 ERA and career resurgence, in the last 5 seasons. He really has had a resurgence. He's recorded the most wins and Ks over any 5-year stretch of his career, and he debuted back in 1998. And an NL lifer of the 16 Major League seasons. This is the first one starting on an AL team.
Signed a 2-year free agent deal with the Red Sox worth $26.5 million. 35 years old, his 16th big league season. Was asked how many wins he's looking to post this year, and he said, I think 30. He said, I'm not going to be greedy and say 32, 33. That's unrealistic, so I'll say 30. He's never won more than 17, which he did with the Cubs in 2008, and obviously he was joking about the 30. And Gardner walks. Yankees trying different lineup configurations. Today, Robinson Cano is batting second, which is kind of odd to have your best hitter at the number 2 spot in the lineup. Get some more at bats, but might not be up with as many people on base. But Girardi is trying to jumpstart this offense.
And you get the feeling with all the injuries that there's going to be a lot of this going on, trying to find the right mix, the right matching, especially depending on who's pitching.
Now he shows bunt, and the Red Sox once again show an extreme shift on Cano. Most of the left side of the infield is wide open. Now with a runner on first, the runner between the second baseman, or the fielder between the second baseman and the first baseman, not on the outfield grass. Cano was here early, about 2 o'clock, taking early BP, which is not unusual for him. He does work hard with Kevin Long. But you wonder how much of that shift might be getting in his head, and is he going to think about going the other way on the ground? It's an easy single. Might even be a double. Runner goes. Throw to second. Beautiful throw by Cody Ross to gun down Brett Gardner.
See, Brett Gardner, not a good jump at all. Kind of got caught flat-footed. Dempster quick to home. And Ross right on the button. Little short hop, easy play, right on the bag. That was really a function of Brett Gardner not getting a good jump at all.
So David Ross with a throw right on the bag. I believe I had said Cody Ross. So 1 down now, and a 2-1 count on Cano. Very close. I think he might have gotten him just on the elbow before that hand touched second.
Yeah, sort of the classic, the ball beat the runner. The majority of time, the umpire will make the call out in that case.
And with a runner off first base, there is an infielder now playing on the outfield grass for Cano. And he grounds it right into the teeth of that shift, and we see the shift takes a base hit away from Cano.
So I guess you're going to score this one 5-3, because that is the third baseman out there in short right field, and plenty of time to get Cano.
Here's Kevin Youkilis. And the count 1-0. Middlebrooks had a long run back to his position from short right field, showing a lot of range.
Yeah, that is going to mess up some defensive metrics right there, right? Going to have to do some adjustments now with these massive shifts.
It really does render the number system of keeping the score ridiculous. The ball's hit to the right side, you're scoring at a 5-3, but that is the third baseman playing out there. Yankees crossing their fingers about Hiroki Kuroda's middle finger. No break, but he said he's not going to be sure if he can make his next start, which will be Monday in Cleveland, until he throws his bullpen tomorrow. Girardi said he is still slated to pitch on Monday. Broken bat, one hopper to short. And that is going to do it. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on base. We played one at the stadium. There's no score. Yankees Sox. Yes, is brought to you in part by Honda. Get a great deal during the really big spring event now at your Honda dealer. By American Airlines, the new American is arriving. And by Kettle One. Gentlemen, this is vodka. Please drink responsibly. 0-0 as we go to the second inning. Johnny Gomes was at the plate when Shane Victorino got a bit aggressive. So he gets a new fresh count, and it's 1-0. Foul away.
The Red Sox brought Johnny Gomes over for a lot of reasons. His character in the clubhouse, but also his power numbers against left-handed pitching. He's always, in his entire career, been excellent against lefties. Really good in the clutch, too. Last year, he had a .480 average with runners in scoring position and 2 outs.
Popped up, shallow center, backpedaling his Cano, one away. Here's Will Middlebrooks. Grounded up the middle, a base hit.
You can almost sense, these Red Sox know with Andy Pettitte that he's going to be throwing strikes. He works fast, tries to get ahead in the count. See the approach of these Red Sox hitters so far as we get through the first round of the lineup seems to be very aggressive early in the count.
Here's the rookie Jackie Bradley Jr.
See those numbers there? That's why he's here. Jumping right from Double-A to the big leagues.
This could be two. There's one, and there's two. So they double up Jackie Bradley Jr., and that'll do it. Here in the second, no runs a hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. Cano to Nunez to Overbay to the bottom of the second. Inspired medicine. Derek Jeter still out with ankle soreness. Granderson a broken forearm. Teixeira strained wrist. Alex Rodriguez has had hip surgery, and Phil Hughes has had bulging discs in his neck. And now Hiroki Kuroda joins that list with a finger contusion. Day to day.
The good news was with Kuroda that the X-rays were negative. So as Michael said, the Yankees will wait to see his side session, but it looks like he's going to be okay.
So here's Travis Hafner, cleanup hitter for the Yankees. And a strike. Similar shift for Hafner as there is for Cano. And with Hafner, you figure, well, he's a dead pull hitter. It's just Cano, it seems so startling. We've never seen it before. But the Red Sox, David, are not doing this on guesswork. They have spray charts that tell them that's the way Cano hits.
Well, without a doubt. And the difference with Hafner is a little more extreme shift and a little deeper play. But they go ahead and put Pedroia out in short right field in Hafner's case, as opposed to Middlebrooks on Cano.
And most of sports has a copycat element to it. If something works in football, a certain type of offense, you're going to see a lot of teams run it. Well, I'm sure the Detroit Tigers have been scouting this series. Hafner goes the other way. And it's out of play. And the Tigers just lost 2 out of 3 to the Twins. But ironically enough, they could scout it and it could work. But that's not the way Jim Leland rolls the dice. He just doesn't like to have the extreme shifts. He's old school. But now when the Yankees go to Cleveland after that, Terry Francona would do something like that. So it'll be interesting to see if the rest of the league starts to copy what the Red Sox have done.
What it also allows you to do with this extreme shift is the first baseman can almost be on the line.
Now it is looped into center field, and it's going to dunk in for a base hit.
The old, let's trade a bat for a hit. Gladly, as you see a little bit of shard come off of that broken bat. And Hafner's so strong, even though he broke his bat, he just muscles it into the outfield.
Here's Vernon Wells, 3 hits yesterday, and a 3-run home run included in those 3 hits. That made it 7-4. That's as close as the Yankees could get. Foul back. You join a new team and you know you want to make an instant impression. And that game last night had to feel good for Vernon Wells.
He gave the Yankees a little hope last night. Got him back in the ballgame.
Oh, 2. And he hit a laser shot.
Well, he's so quick on the inner half. He's always been extremely dangerous on fastballs, middle end, belt high. The Yankees left Robinson Cano on deck last night. Were 1 hitter away from another base runner from bringing Cano up with a chance to tie the game.
Swing and a miss. Another breaking ball diving down and away, and Wells strikes out.
What's a good one? You see Ross setting up right out there, and he puts it perfectly just off the plate. Ball looks like a
slider.
Yeah, a little tight slider. It looked like it was going to be a strike, and then just broke at the last minute right off the edge.
Here's Suzuki. Hafner's at first. Strike 1.
You got a couple veteran guys on the mound, both wearing number 46, and Dempster, very crafty. Really knows what he's doing out there. Obviously not overpowering, but 90 miles, 91 miles an hour on his fastball is quick enough, but good splitter and a good slider. Another one of the Boston acquisitions to sort of change the culture of the clubhouse. Dempster, a great teammate, great sense of humor.
Count 1 and 2.
Talked about Andy Pettit, his first in innings pitched on active pitchers in today's game. Ryan Dempster is 10th on that list.
And Ichiro down on strikes, ball in the dirt. You know, yesterday we kind of surprised that you look at Corona, who's really a top flight pitcher. In the States, he has a .500 record. And you look at Ryan Dempster. Ryan Dempster is a good pitcher, and it shows you how tough it is to win games. His career record is 124 and 124. Now that's been an improvement because at one point in his career he was 16 games under 500, so he's made up some ground.
And you're playing on some losing teams too will do that to your record in Chicago with the Cubbies.
Native of Canada, 16 big league seasons, made the All-Star game twice, and the second most wins by a Canadian-born pitcher after Fergie Jenkins, 284.
And probably one of the best Harry Carey impersonators you'll ever hear. Practical joker. Really good to have these kind of characters in your clubhouse. Kind of mix it up, keep everybody loose.
High fly ball, deep right center field. Ellsbury on the run. He's not going to get there. And the Yankees get a bad break as the ball bounds into the stands. It would have been an easy run, but Hafner has to go back to third, and Nunez gets himself a double.
Well, indeed, as Nunez up around the letters, drives it into the gap in right center. You hear the sound of the bat. Ellsbury with a lot of speed can't get there, and the bounce off the warning track. Dipster knew it.
High fly ball.
Every time you see that pitcher's head snap around, you know that that ball was drilled.
Here's Overbay. Two-out situation, second and third. In this series, the Yankees have yet to have a lead, so here's an opportunity.
It's really what the Red Sox have done so well the first two games is in these situations with two outs. A lot of big two-out RBI hits.
Line into left center field. That is going to dunk in for a base hit. That'll score 2 runs. Overbay with a big hit for the Yankees. A 2-run single, and the Yankees have their first lead of the season, 2-0.
Well, the usually patient Overbay swings at the first pitch, and it's off the plate. Good plate coverage off the end of the bat. And the fact that he did get it off the end of the bat really helped him because the ball just sort of dies out there. You can almost tell by the sound off the bat that it's probably a cracked bat. But nice approach by Overbay against Dipster.
So a reason to smile for the Yankees. They're up 2-0, and here is Cervelli. 1-0.
You know, there's times, Michael, to be aggressive and work the count, grind out at bats, and in that situation with Overbay, 2 RBIs out there, you look for a first pitch fastball, and even though it's off the plate, you go out and you cover it. You got a couple RBIs.
One and two. Red Sox go to Toronto for a weekend set. The Yankees head to Detroit after this one. Have a 1 o'clock start tomorrow. Quick turnaround after a night game. 2-2.
It'll be interesting to see the reception that John Farrell gets up there, who was the manager for the Blue Jays last year.
Those three in that picture with the Blue Jays last year. Bench coach Troy Lavello, third base coach Brian Butterfield. They came over with Farrell. Swing and a miss. Cervelli down on strikes, but the Yankees have their first lead of the season. 2 runs on 3 hits, a big single by Overbay. Yankees, go to yankees.com/Prius to enter for your chance to win the Yankees Prius plug-in. Today's conversation, which player who switched teams during the offseason will help his new club the most? Pitch to Ross is grounded and under the glove of Nunez for a base hit. All right, so it's been ongoing, this conversation. At Your Sport reports that Josh Hamilton, great player going to a playoff team, may be extra piece they need to be a championship caliber club. So follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Prius to keep the conversation going. So that one really does hurt, because not only does he go to the Angels, but he leaves a team in that division. Might weaken the Rangers a bit. Lincoln scoreboard, 2-0 Yankees.
I think most people thought that Hamilton would probably stay in Texas because he'd done so well there and had a support network there. Well documented off the field troubles. But Artie Moreno, once again, sneaking in at the last minute, making a big deal happen.
Right back to Pettit. There's one. There's 2. Second double play for Andy Pettit.
Well, Andy Pettit's always been excellent at getting ground balls in these situations. This time he does it himself. All the little things Andy does so well. Holding runners on, his pickoff move. His ability to get ground ball double plays has really served him well, and that's why he's out there pitching after all these years. All those little things add up.
Here's Ellsbury. The 0-1. 0-2.
This is Andy's 38th career start against the Boston Red Sox. 18-10 lifetime with a 3.91 ERA. There's only one Yankee pitcher in history that's made more starts against the Red Sox, and that's former Yankee pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre, who had 46 games started against the Red Sox.
The 1-2. Now, on a cold night like this, you would think, well, this could affect Andy Pettitte, but we go back to April 9th, 1996, pitching at Yankee Stadium in a snowstorm. A young Derek Jeter and Andy Pettitte with a little darker hair plowed right through and won that game. Right back to Pettitte, building his position well. And that will do it. No runs a hit, no errors, and because of the DP, nobody left. We go to the bottom of the third, 2-0 Yanks. Includes savings off the game day ticket price and postseason options. Season ticket plans are available on both the full season and partial season basis with various options to fit what you're looking for. Buy your season tickets today. Call 212-YANKEES or log on to Yankees.com. Hey, I've got to apologize for something that I said. Yes, I kind of made light of Iglesias wearing kind of that ski mask and Cano and Nunez. Now, we don't have any heat in the booth, but it did feel ultra cold up here. Dave and I walked out of the stadium together last night, and it was really, really cold. And you could see why the players were bundled up.
It was cold and very windy. You know, the wind chill definitely took 20 degrees off the weather on the field.
Lincoln scoreboard 2-0 Yankees as Gardner hits one deep to right. Victorino back, leaps. See ya! A home run for Brett Gardner. And the Yankees lead 3-0.
It's the last thing you expect leading off an inning for Brett Gardner. First pitch swinging, but down and in. The power zone for a lefty finds the first row right over the W.B. Mason sign. It's nice to see Brett Gardner get aggressive every now and then. And I tell you what, when you don't hit a lot of them, you better check a few times to make sure it gets over.
Cano takes high.
See, Victorino starts his jump a little soon, but that ball's too high. He wouldn't have had a chance either way.
Now the shift is on again, and the way that Farrell, the manager of the Red Sox, explains how he positions Middlebrooks and Pedroia, they put Pedroia in the spot that they believe the batter is most likely to hit the ball because he's the better fielder. And the last time, actually, it was Middlebrooks who caught it. There's no defense for a walk, so Cano will make the walk toward first base. And with Hafner, when they shift for him, it's Pedroia that's in short right field because the chart showed that he's more likely to hit it there.
Which makes sense when you think about it, because Hafner definitely more of a pull hitter than Cano.
There's a strike to Euclid. Foul back.
Let's take a look at the Jeep Hitters Scouting Report for Kevin Euclid. Rare feat. Well, he joins Johnny Damon and Wade Boggs as the only two players to start a season opener for the Yankees the year after doing so for the Red Sox. That goes all the way back to 1925, and patiently waiting over the last 8 seasons, he ranks 3rd in the major leagues in pitches per plate appearance at 4.30. That's why they call him the Greek god of walks, and looking for a bounce back year after his career lows of last year.
And the name Greek God of Walks really came up in the book Moneyball, where the A's said that this guy, who was in the minor leagues for the Red Sox, that was the perfect player for them. He would take pitches, high on base percentage, and they really desired acquiring Kevin Euclid, but the Red Sox wouldn't give him up, and they called him the Greek God of Walks, and he's not Greek. Swing and a miss as Euclid down on strikes.
See, Dempster does not mess around with Ross setting up on the inside. He goes off speed. Very effective. Sort of a new school pitch. You see a lot more pitchers throwing changeups and off-speed pitches on the inner half of the plate by design. You see on an 0-2 pitch, Euclid read fastball the whole way and got beat.
Here's Travis Hafner, singled and scored in the second inning. Foul behind the plate. Out of play.
And Michael, it's sort of a function. You know, when I came up, pitching coaches would always tell you have to get your off-speed pitches down and away, because if you make a mistake, it can lead to a home run on the inner half of the plate. And that's really changed, really over the last 10, 15 years, because a lot of hitters are diving now. They stand on the plate closer. They dive into the ball more, as opposed to sort of the bail and wail area of 20 to 30 years ago. So off-speed pitches on the inner half of the plate have become much more popular.
Yeah, that's why when you used to have a righty pitcher that had a good changeup, if there was a righty batter, you'd say, well, you're taking away his best pitch. Now, not necessarily, because those dives down and in, and they'll take that chance now and then. Used to prefer to throw it to a lefty because it would move down and away.
To call it bail and wail back in the day. If you think of, back in the 70s with the Yankees, or playing against, Baltimore, a guy like Lee May, if he left something on the inner half of the plate, he would almost step in the bucket a little bit, or bail and wail at the pitch. And nowadays, it's more of a dive and hook, where guys will step into it, reach out over the outer half, and hook that ball. It's kind of a difference in styles now, and I think that's also why you see a lot more hitters get hit by pitches now, because they just don't get in the way. They're dug into the box, they dive, they move their hands into the strike zone, and it's just a different era, a different style of hitting.
I don't think the pitchers are allowed to throw inside as much as they used to. Bob Gibson would not have taken somebody diving over the plate.
Just no way, even to Nolan Ryan. If Nolan Ryan saw a hitter dig into the box too much, kind of rake away the dirt with the spikes too much, he would let you know. He'd give you a bow tie. He'd knock you off the plate.
Count 3-2.
It's Nolan Ryan's coined phrase, you know, give the guy a bow tie. That means throw a fastball right where you'd wear a bow tie. And then look at you and stare you down after he did it.
Swing and a miss. Went off speed. And Hafner down on strikes.
We'll see Dempster's reaction after this changeup. See, Hafner saw a fastball all the way, and I'm not sure if he caught his spikes or forgot how many outs there were. Looks to me like he forgot how many outs there were. I have to ask him after the game.
Vernon Wells struck out in the second inning. Yankees up 3-0. Now Dempster got Wells with breaking balls away in the second inning, and statistically Wells was one of the worst right-handed hitters last year hitting the ball to right field. I think he was something like 3 for 35. Just doesn't go that way well. But he said that one of the things he worked on during the offseason was taking the ball the other way, and if he's successful with that, this could be a good ballpark for him.
Well, that's easier said than done. You know, I think, Vernon Wells, I think, admittedly says that he kind of got caught up in the contract that he got. He felt the need to justify it and tried to hit more home runs, really tried to pull the ball much more than he normally would. But his strength has always been pulling the ball. So I don't know if he's going to drive the ball the other way, but he could be more selective and he could get some more hits the other way.
David, you signed for what was at the time big contracts. Did you feel you had to pitch better? I mean, you got the big contract because of the way you pitched. Did you put pressure on yourself after that?
Well, I think you do feel a need to justify it. I know when I signed a big free agent contract with the Royals, after playing for the Mets for 6 years and a little bit in Toronto in '92, I did feel a need to justify the numbers. And the team is looking for, especially when you change teams and go to a new team. So, yeah, it can be more psychological than you think.
That one is hit the other way, but a high fly ball to right. Victorino will put it away, and that will do it. But the Yankees get another run. Third home run of the year for the team as Brett Gardner goes yard into the first row in right field. We've played 3. It's 3-0 Yanks. Pettitte is one of 3 pitchers to start for the Yankees in 15 or more different seasons. Who are the other 2? And Victorino takes a strike. Lined and caught by Nunez.
Well, it looked like Victorino was going to get another one, and Nunez up into the web. It's a nice play, nice timing.
Yankees are convinced that that is his position. They've been questioned a lot. Why not play him in left field? And when Alex got hurt, why not move him to third? They think that his numbers translate to a shortstop, and they think his best defensive position is shortstop.
He's played well the first 2 or 3 games now into the 3rd game. You know, Michael, I like to do my pregame research, and go through all my, my websites. Found an interesting tidbit on Andy Pettitte today on BaseballReference.com. Got an interesting little comparative analysis here, and see if this surprises you. And one of the things BaseballReference.com has is they'll give you a list of career numbers of pitchers most similar to Andy Pettitte. If there's one pitcher that's a former Yankee that has career numbers that are the most similar to Andy Pettitte, who would you think that would be?
Want to give me a hint?
He's not active. He is not active. He is retired, but if you compare career numbers, and he's another left-handed pitcher that used to pitch for the Yankees. But if you compare their career numbers of the guy who's retired and Andy Pettitte's right now as they stand, they are the most similar in the history of the game.
All right, tell me who it is.
David Wells.
Well, that makes sense because they're so alike personally, too.
They couldn't be more polar opposites in personality, but their numbers are eerily similar.
Wow.
Andy Pettitte, 245 wins, we talked about. David Wells, 239 wins. You didn't think the Big Boomer had that many wins in his career, right? He really did. He finished with a flurry. Pitched till he was 44 years old. Number 2 on that list, Mike Mussina, another teammate of Andy Pettitte's. BaseballReference.com gives you the top 10 list of pitchers that have similar stats to Andy Pettitte.
So what did Mike finish, 270?
270, yeah, but Mike Mussina was also well over 100 games over 500 in his career. And people ask about, well, Mike Mussina, is he a Hall of Famer? Is Andy Pettitte going to be, a Hall of Famer, or what his chances are? And what I can tell you is Pettitte's had one heck of a career.
Check swing, but they say he went around.
Including postseason. Andy, big game pitcher. But every pitcher in the history of the game who's ever been at least 100 games over 500 for their career has made it into the Hall of Fame. And Andy Pettitte is over 100 games over 500 in his career, as is Mike Mussina.
Oh, 2 count on Napoli. Now the thing that will hurt Andy Pettitte in trying to get to Cooperstown, and he knows it, and we've talked about it, is his admitted use of HGH.
No doubt about it.
And we see how that's affected people that are just rumored to have been involved in it. They don't get into the Hall of Fame, and maybe the spectrum of time will change the way people look at it.
Well, if there's one thing that's for certain, and I agree completely with you, Michael, and I know there's a lot of riders that feel that way and will never change their attitude, but if you're looking for a way to handle that situation, if you did make a mistake, Andy Pettitte was the right way to handle it. Mm-hmm. Came out, admitted it, apologized for it, explained it, and moved on. No denials.
The 1-2. High.
But we'll see how that plays out on down the road, several years down the road.
I don't think anybody really knows how it'll play out, but they kind of assume that what's happening now will change just a bit. Swing and miss. Napoli down on strikes. Hey, MLB.com at Bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Yankees baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text at Bat at 31826 or visit Yankees.com for details. Punched out right side. Cano is there. And he gets the hustling Johnny Gomes for the final out of the fourth. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one man left on base. Cano ranging far to the glove side, and then a quick throw, and he just gets Gomes as we go to the bottom of the fourth. Smokers Quit Line quiz. Andy Pettitte, one of 3 pitchers to start for the Yankees in 15 or more different seasons. Who are the other 2? You have the answer? Oh, now you got it. Whitey Ford, 16 seasons. Red Ruthing, 15 seasons. One of the cool things about being a Yankee, and I've heard Yankees tell me this, is that on Old Timers you get to pick the brains of all these names that come up on these quizzes. Did you ever get anything from Whitey?
Oh yes, Whitey was great. You know, Whitey knew the tricks of the trade. You know, he could show you, exactly how to make a ball dance. You know, some of the tricks, whether they were legal or illegal. He knew how to sort of use the scuff if you got it on a baseball to make it dance. How to use just a little moisture to get a ground ball when you needed it, to get that ball to sink. Whitey was the master. Different grips he would use. You know, Whitey was not overpowering. You know, and I think I mentioned before that Andy Pettitte is the only pitcher to win 200 games for the Yankees that was a drafted pitcher by the Yankees.
Of course, Whitey was a signed pitcher. There was no draft then.
There was no draft back when, so of course Whitey won more than 200 games, but you know, Andy's the only one that was drafted. But Whitey was amazing. Just a real character in the clubhouse. What a great pitcher, big game pitcher, but he really knew how to make pitches when he had to. And not only get strikeouts, but to get ground ball double plays.
Edward Charles, Whitey Ford, 16 big league seasons, Cy Young in 61, 236 wins, 10-time All-Star, 6-time World Champion, and went into the Hall of Fame in 1974.
See, Whitey taught me one time, he taught me in the clubhouse on Old Timers Day how to throw a rosin ball pitch, where he would go to the rosin bag behind the mound with the ball in his hand and grab the rosin bag so a little rosin would get on the baseball. And actually be able to use that and manipulate the ball to get it to sink, almost like a spitball. He was amazing, some of the tricks he had.
Did you ever use it in a game?
I'm going to plead the fifth.
Okay. So you did in the 5th inning.
Yeah, in the 5th inning.
So Ichiro works a leadoff walk against Dempster.
Be surprised any sort of debris on a ball. You know, everybody talks about a scuff ball, and it's not like you're out there with an emery board trying to scuff it yourself, but a lot of times the ball goes in the dirt and you get it back on the mound and it's got a little dirt on it or a little scuff on it. It doesn't take much. And if I got a ball that had a scuff on it, I knew what to do with it, Michael. I didn't scuff it myself, but you'd be surprised what you can make that ball do with just a little something on it.
Nunez takes a strike. A lot of old timers they can't believe it when they see a pitcher get a ball and there's a scuff on it. They ask the umpire for another one. He said, you never throw those back in.
Oh, I used to yell at some catchers or some infielders that would throw out a ball like that. Give me that ball back. Don't you dare throw that ball out. But you're right, Michael. Some pitchers didn't like it because they didn't know how to use it, and they didn't want that kind of unnatural movement or a movement that they weren't anticipating. You know, some pitchers just were very uncomfortable with that sort of a scuffed up ball.
Hey, baseball really outlawed the spitball because it's a very hard pitch to control, and you could get hurt if you don't know how to throw it. It sails, and you just don't know what it's going to do.
I tried to get the Hall of Famer Gaylord Perry to teach me his tricks one day, and I was a young pitcher. He was at the end of his career with the Royals, and he wouldn't. He said, "You're too young, I won't teach you." But everybody knew that he was the master. I'd see Gaylord Perry before a game, and he would have Vaseline everywhere, in his hair, on his neck, on his arms.
The 0-2 outside, 1-2. Overbay is on deck. Missed outside. Dempster certainly slowed down with a runner on base. Very deliberate between pitches.
See 71 pitches here in the bottom of the 4th with nobody out.
Brett Gardner has a home run in the game. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Grounded to third. Middlebrooks goes to second wide. On to first. Not in time. Nunez beat the return throw.
We'll get a look at the turn as you see Nunez off the end of the bat. Couple of hoppers. Looks like it might have a chance, and Nunez too quick. Maybe Pedroia had a little trouble getting out of his glove. We'll see here. Couldn't get much on the throw. The one hop was all Nunez needed with his speed to beat that throw. Middlebrooks had a little trouble getting it out too.
Here's Overbay. Big two-run single with 2 outs in the second. Now the Yankees on the board. And a strike. Two.
Well, you're right, Michael. That's what happens, you know. It's been a tough night for Dempster. He's had a lot of deep counts, as we see that pitch count there. Second and third inning, 21 and 20 pitches, but things have slowed down.
Overbay strikes out. Dempster's been around a while. This is his 16th big league season, and when he was at the Marlins, he faced Paul O'Neill. It didn't go well for Dempster. Same game, David Cone is on the mound. And a complete game spun by David.
That was the Rosenball pitch right there. I'm telling you, Michael. Did you see that movement?
First complete game of the season. Outdueled Dempster. 14 strikeouts. That 98 Yankee team was the team that never thought it was going to lose. Came to the ballpark every day, and just by how much?
Well, you know, that was the first start I'd had back from when my mother's dog bit my finger, Veronica.
Yep.
And that got El Duque to the big leagues. It's an interesting story, but El Duque came up and took my spot in the rotation, and that was my first start back. And yes, my mom's dog really did bite my finger. That's what really happened. Veronica recently passed away, Michael. We lost Veronica, my mom's dog, Veronica. Little Jack Russell Terrier.
She had a long run.
She had a long run. She's famous. She had a good life.
And El Duque sent him a biscuit for many years after that. Got him to the big leagues. Now, I've heard, David, that El Duque has become this unbelievable golfer in Miami. That's all he does is golf, right?
I've heard that, too. He's a great athlete. El Duque was always in fantastic shape.
Count 1-2. I'll tell you what, David, Dempster's going to fit perfectly into the pace of Yankees-Red Sox baseball. He'll fit right into that 4-hour and 22-minute game.
If you're a Boston Red Sox reliever right now, then you're itching down there. You're moving around because you see this pitch count. You know there's going to be some action tonight.
Three and two.
Some guys stretching out already. You see, they feel it. On Dempster's side, he's got to keep it right here. Just minimize the damage. Do what you can do. Try to get out of this inning.
Runner goes.
Cervelli putting a good at-bat on him. Worked it to 3-2 and fouling off a couple pitches.
And he worked a walk. So Dempster loses that battle. First and second, 2 outs. Top of the lineup, and Brett Gardner. Note the special starting time for a Friday game, 1 p.m. tomorrow from Detroit. And the pregame will be on at 12:30. Ivan Nova will get his first start against Doug Fister. And then we got a matchup that you're tuning into on Sunday, David. Sabathia against Verlander.
Love it. Two of the real horses in the game over the last decade.
And a strike. So many theories about speeding these games up and having a pitcher throw within 20 seconds, but you can't really enforce any of that with a runner on base. You can't force a pitcher to throw the ball. You can just step off and say, I'm checking the runner back.
That's exactly right, Michael. You know, the culture has changed from years ago. Starting pitchers are pitching less innings. You know, last year in the American League, the average innings pitched per start across the board was under 6 innings. So that leaves a lot of work for the bullpen. That leads to longer games, more pitching changes. It's just a different game than it used to be. And as we've seen, Major League executives are putting a lot of power arms in the bullpen. We saw it with Boston the other night. One guy threw harder than the next. All the power arms seem to be geared towards the bullpen. 95-mile-an-hour fastballs are sort of commonplace now across both leagues.
Count 2-2.
So another good at-bat by Gardner. He's got a walk and a homer. His home run came on a first pitch hack. But otherwise, the type of at-bat you would expect from Brett Gardner. Working the count, seeing a lot of pitches. More importantly, pushing Dempster closer to 90 pitches.
Count full, that starts the runners.
And that'll slow you down too, Michael, because trust me, I've been in here before. I've had a lot of games that I started in my career where I had this pitch count in 4 innings. And that's a hard night. You're working hard. You're starting to get fatigued.
Swing and a miss. He got him. So he gets out of trouble. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We go to the 5th. 3-0 Yankees. Marlins now come into New York and play the Mets starting tomorrow. Middlebrooks takes high. So Andy Pettitte has a 3-0 lead. And a very, very solid economical pitch count at 41. And there's a strike. Yeah, Bellino said no, he did not go. Fouled away. Middlebrooks was so impressive in spring training last year, and obviously coming up through the system, that it made Kevin Youkilis expendable. Also, Kevin and Bobby Valentine kind of butted heads a bit, and that led to the trade to the White Sox. And he hits one to Youkilis, who guns him down for the first out. Time for the MetLife I Can Do This stat of the game. Speaking of Kevin Youkilis, he won his first Gold Glove in 2007 as a first baseman with the Red Sox. So he's played a game at first for the Yankees and 2 at third so far. And he is the first player in Yankee history to start a game at first and to start a game at third in the first 2 games of the season. Count 0-2 on Jackie Bradley Jr.
I was talking to Kevin Youkilis before the game during batting practice and asked him how he felt. You know, it's feel kind of weird with the pinstripes all those years with the Red Sox. And he said, a little bit, but he got used to it pretty quick. And then I said, well, the real one's coming up in Boston, so that's going to be the test for Kevin Youkilis, to go back to Boston in a Yankee uniform. And see the reaction he gets.
Gets another try at third, gobbles that up. Gets a uke cheer as well. Yankees don't go to Boston until July. So he's got a lot of time to prepare for it.
Yes, he does. Well, that may be a blessing for him. But he's very grounded, just a solid guy, very intelligent player. And, you know, I told him they can never take away what you did up there for that organization.
And they can't really hate him in Boston because he is married to Tom Brady's sister. So Tom Brady is royalty in Boston. The 1-0. Oh, strike. 1-1.
Pretty good sports family right there.
Yeah.
You got tickets covered all the way around. Meanwhile, Mr. Pettit cruising along with his pitch count. 2 outs here in the 5th, just 53 pitches. You know, Michael, we talked about it in the pregame show about how I think Andy in some ways is better than ever because he's so much more efficient now.
That's a nice inning for Andy Pettit. 1, 2, 3. 2 ground balls in third and a strikeout. At the end of 4.5, we're halfway through. That adds up to Yankees 3 and the Red Sox nothing as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Boy, Andy Pettit has looked very good, allowing 4 hits and no runs. 2-run single by Overbay. That came in the 2nd. A solo home run by Gardner. That came in the 3rd, and that is the scoring as Dempster and Pettit have hooked up. They've got Cano, Youkilis, and Hafner here in the 5th. Grounded to first. Napoli is there, flips to Dempster, and there's 1 away. Time Warner customers, you won't have to miss a game again now that you can watch live YES Network's Yankee games on your PCs or laptops with Time Warner Cable. Get a full season of live Yankees games on the go for just $29.99. If you're a Time Warner Cable customer, go to YesNetwork.com to get more information and subscribe now. the union of Kevin Youkilis and Tom Brady's sister has pretty good genes sports-wise as well. You've got Youkilis, you've got Brady, and Youkilis' wife, Julie Brady, played college soccer, so she very athletic as well. That one's driven deep to left field. That ball is going to be one hop off the base of the wall, and Youkilis picks himself up with double.
Well, this is what has looked so good about Youkilis. As you see on the inside corner on the fastball, he's able to get his hands inside that pitch. And the most important thing is to keep that ball fair. Because if your bat's a little slow, you're going to get around it and hook it foul. But Youkilis just smokes it. Line drive bullet off the bottom of the wall, and you watch here the hook of the bat, the foot goes down, and see his hands get inside the ball. So you can get the barrel of the bat to the baseball sooner and keep that ball fair.
Pitch outside to Hafner. That one's driven deep to right field. Is it fair? Foul ball.
Case in point right here, same situation, Dempster coming in and Hafner just around it. You see the barrel come around that ball just a little bit, just enough to hook it foul. Almost the same pitch to the other side of the plate that Youkilis saw.
One and two.
Out over the plate, boy, just belt high right down the middle. Hafner's swing is tailor-made for Yankee Stadium in this short porch.
And he strikes him out. 8 strikeouts for Dempster. So Hafner with a single run scored and 2 strikeouts. And that brings up Vernon Wells. Wells is 0 for 2, struck out in the second, and a fly ball to right in the third.
It's a big batter for Dempster right here. If he can get out of this right now, he might buy another inning and stay in this game. Veteran pitcher, probably can go to 115 pitches. As you see, Tazawa now warming up.
He was impressive on opening day.
Yes, excellent stuff. Mid-90s fastball, great control. Dempster throwing his 100th pitch right here.
And it's a strike. And it was a gift from the Bureau just off the plate.
You can hear Paul O'Neill screaming all the way in Cincinnati. Hell, that's in the other batter's box, Michael.
Grounded in front of the plate, and it hit Wells in fair territory, so he is called out. No argument. I think he might have hit it twice. There's one. And then he hits the ball with the bat, so he is out. Didn't hit him, hit the bat.
It's a good trick, try to knock a foul.
End of the inning, we go to the 6th. Top of the 6th inning, and Andy Pettitte starts off Jose Iglesias with a strike. And Iglesias with a push bunt. It is a beauty, and it's a base hit.
Well, Iglesias just doing everything he can to make an impression. Great defense, couple of bunt hits in this series, swung the bat well, perfectly placed. Andy Pettitte falling off towards third base, make Lyle Overbay field it, and with his speed, no chance.
Here's Ellsbury. Fly ball, right center, good jump for Gardner as he hauls it in and fires the ball to first, but Iglesias scampers back. Hey, if you're keeping score at home, the Wells play that ended the bottom of the 5th, that scored an unassisted 2. They give the put out to the catcher. .57 pitches for Pettitte, 1 out into the 6th inning. And they needed this type of outing since they had to get 23 outs out of the bullpen last night. And a strike.
Tonight will mark the 27th time in Andy Pettitte's career that he will start a game attempting to avoid a sweep. His first start of this year, he's in that spot. In case you're wondering, in those games he's 17-3 with a 3.0 ERA. Definition of stopper.
Two and one.
And that was courtesy of the Elias Bureau, to give credit where credit is due, as we get We have a lot of sources for information up here, Michael. It's not coming off the top of my head, in case you were wondering.
We do have a plethora of stuff. Count 3-1. Three-one pitch. Fly ball center field. Gardner will make the play. 2 outs. Yankees opening week on Yes is brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Here's Dustin Pedroia. Pitch high. Count 2-0. What do you think of the job Cervelli's been doing?
Well, I think he's earned his way back to the big leagues. He deserves it. I think, a lot of talk about him being demoted last year and being dejected, but he turned it around. He also went to winter ball and played excellent in winter ball.
They had wanted him just to tone it down a bit. He was a bit much behind the plate, celebrating strikeouts, pumping his fist, and they felt that sometimes that might have spurred on the other team. So they just wanted to dial it down a little, not take his aggression away or his emotion, but just a bit. And so far he's done that. But he said, that's who I am, too. He said, so you can't completely stop. And he said, it wasn't as if it was an act.
Yeah, it was genuine. Yeah, I mean, there's a fine line between what type of emotion you show on the field and, whether it's, whether you're a hot dog or not, or other teams think you're a hot dog. I think Cervelli's handled himself well. He's earned his way back to the big leagues.
2-2. Grounded to short. Nunez flips to Cano, and they just get Iglesias for the final out of the inning. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. Nunez put a little loop in that one, and Iglesias has good speed, almost got there, but the throw beat him, and the Yankees lead 3-0 to the delight of Francisco Cervelli. call to the bullpen, brought to you by AT&T. So Ryan Dempster's night is over, and they turn it over to Junichi Tazawa.
Great numbers last year. Only 5 walks versus 45 strikeouts in 44 innings.
So he's going to face Ichiro Suzuki, Eduardo Nunez, and Lyle Overbay. Some enthusiastic Ichiro fans. Struck out tonight and also walked. The strikeout came in the second, the walk in the fourth. Lofted to left field. Jackie Bradley Jr. makes the play for the first out. Eduardo Nunez doubled in the second. Ball bounced into the seats and right. Put runners on second and third, and then Overbay followed with a single to drive in 2 runs. Gave the Yankees a 2-0 lead. Gardner with a home run in the third made it 3-0. That's where we are. And a strike to Nunez. Count 0-2.
We noted Tazawa's great control out there, and you can see if you're a young pitcher, there's nothing wrong with pitching from the stretch. I mean, his line to home plate is directly straight. You can see why he has such good control, and it's not just mechanics either, Michael. It's sort of a mindset. When you're a pitcher that only walks 5 guys in 45 innings last year, it's not just the direct line he has, but it's a mindset of, I'm not afraid to throw the ball over the plate. It's good to have confidence, and a little easier when you've got a 95-mile-an-hour fastball to work with, and great stuff. But we saw it with last year in the postseason with Tim Lincecum, and we saw it with Yu Darvish the other night when he almost threw his perfect game, pitching almost the entire night from the stretch position, where less can go wrong, less moving parts, straight direct line.
Base hit past Napoli and down the right field line. Nunez makes a big turn. But Victorino comes up throwing. A single for Nunez, now 2 for 3.
But we've seen this from Nunez. He's line to line. And he'll go out and he'll drive the ball the other way. And you see that's almost an emergency hack. A two-strike type hack. But he's got some power the other way, too. Nunez has got some pop in his bat.
And here's Overbay. 1 for 2, that 2-run single and a strikeout in the fourth. Runner goes. It's a strike. Throw to second. In time. David Ross has gotten 2 Yankees trying to steal. 1 Brett Gardner, and now Eduardo Nunez. Wasn't the perfect throw, but Iglesias made a nice pick.
Well, it's no surprise because David Ross has got a great reputation for throwing out runners. Even though it's a one-hopper, it's a quick release and a nice assist from Iglesias. That was not an easy pick. See Ross, a little bit off balance, but quick release. You can see, wow, thanks. Going to pick me up. A little disappointed with the throw, but he got rid of it quickly. Ross threw out 14 to 33 runners last year for 42.4%, which is 4th in the major leagues.
One thing the Yankees have to watch for, and it's still obviously very early, you don't have the power that you had last year, so automatically your inclination is to steal bases. Well, if you're not going to steal bases at 80% in today's game, you don't steal bases. It doesn't make sense if it's going to be 50-50. You've got to be really good at it and steal it at a high percentage. Otherwise, you're giving outs away.
Especially early in the inning. If you're a leadoff runner that got on, you can run yourself right out of an inning.
Shattered bat and a ground ball to Pedroia. And that'll do it for the Yankees here in the 6th. No runs a hit and nobody left on base. That bat will not be used again as we go to the 7th. The official truck of the New York Yankees. Well, we take it to the 7th inning. Now Mike Napoli will lead it off against Andy Pettitte. Pettitte's allowed 5 hits, walked 1, struck out 2, and has thrown 67 pitches. On the Cadillac scoreboard, Yankees 3 runs on 6 hits, and the Red Sox just 5 hits. They have not scored.
You know, a lot of talk about Napoli and his power potential at Fenway Park, but he's also very selective. Sees a lot of pitches per plate appearance.
Popped up. It'll be a long run for Overbay and also for Ichiro, and Ichiro makes the catch for the first out.
So Andy mixing it all in there. Really good changeup to get the fastball hitting Napoli out in front. He's really had all his pitches working tonight. All in the strike zone, which explains that great pitch count. People asking if Andy Pettitte at this age can give him 200 innings. Pitching like this, he can. (46-24). Strikes to balls.
Johnny Gomes takes a strike. You sign with the Red Sox, you wonder, can a guy handle the pressure of playing in Boston? And I don't think that's going to really get to Johnny Gomes. This is a guy who fought back from having a serious heart attack at the age of 22. Not only made it back, but made it back to the big leagues. Had a lot of tragedy in his life. He was in a car accident at the age of 16 that killed one of his best friends. So he has seen and done it all. And a harsh fan base not going to do much to him. Tough kid.
Tough kid and another great clubhouse guy. Well respected on every team he's played on.
Foul.
I will say this, Michael. Beards are back in the big leagues. Did you see Reddick out in Oakland? The beard he's sporting.
I have not seen that one yet.
Oh, it is down to the letters. There's a good one. It started with the San Francisco Giants. Johnny Gomes got a nice one working.
Swing and a miss. Gomes down on strikes.
You see Andy Pettitte, just textbook. You know, you talk about starting pitchers needing that third pitch, and you break out the changeup the third time through the order. Now here it is, 2 straight times. Andy finishes hitters with a changeup. Pitches they haven't seen that much of up until now.
Middlebrooks takes a strike. That one's looped into right field, a base hit. Second hit from Middlebrooks. Let's take a look at tomorrow's starting pitchers, brought to you by Verizon Fios Quantum Internet technology that makes you feel superhuman. That's powerful. Doug Fister is going to get the start for the Tigers. 10-10, 3.45, and Ivanov, who traveled ahead and is in Detroit right now, will get the start for the Yanks. 12-8, 5.02. It begins at 12:30 with the pregame on Yes, and 1 o'clock from Comerica Park is game time.
You had a little bit of the old Boogie Down Bronx come out.
Right.
That
Fister.
Yeah. I like that.
Sneaks out every now and then.
When I first came to New York, I didn't know what people were asking for. They say, "Hey, Coney, sign my ball." It's a ball.
No accents in Kansas City, right?
Not really, you know, just very, very Midwestern, straight, a little twang here and there. We say ball, not ball.
High fly ball, deep right field. Going back is Gardner. He's going to play it up against the wall. Now Ichiro gets the carry. Heading home is Middlebrooks. He'll score. So Jackie Bradley Jr. with an RBI double. And the Red Sox finally on the board here in the 7th inning. Yankees lead 3-1.
Well, first off, trying to go down and away, and this slider stays right there. Jackie Bradley just turns on it. And Andy Pettitte catches a real break because this ball stays in the ballpark. So it's only going to cost him 1 run. And that's high off the wall. Really impressed with Jackie Bradley. Really hanging in there and turning on that slider, even though obviously Andy didn't get it where he wanted to.
Here's David Ross. And there's a strike. Very economical. He's thrown more pitches this inning than any other inning. He needs 1 more strike. Count 1 and 2. center field. Gardner on the run, on the track, and he makes the play. So David Ross gave it a ride, but Gardner covers a lot of real estate and hauls it in for the final out. For the Red Sox, 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. It could have been more, but Gardner very smooth and makes the play out and left to take an extra base hit and a run away from the Red Sox. At the end of 6 1/2, 3-1 Yankees. Time for the 7th inning stretch, but we'll stay right here to honor America in the Bronx.
Thank you. Now, join in Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
To Toronto after this game. As we mentioned, the Yankees will head to Detroit. Speaking of the postgame, you can vote for the Chevy Player of the Game. Visit votechevy.com. The results will be revealed in the postgame show. So 2 Red Sox players give it a ride. They couldn't get the double by Jackie Bradley Jr., but a nice running catch by Gardner hauls in David Ross's bid for an extra base hit. And the Red Sox go to their 3rd pitcher of the night. Clayton Mortensen gets the call. And he's going to face 9, 1, and 2 in the Yankee order as David Robertson is up.
Well, that's the formula. So you would assume that's the way Girardi will go, even though Andy Pettit's pitch count's in decent shape. But did catch a big break there because Ross gave that ball a ride to Death Valley, and Brett Gardner ran it down.
Swing and a miss. Cadillac scoreboard shows the Yankees with a 3-1 lead. Cervelli 0 for 1 with a walk, struck out in the second, walked in the fourth. We have a chance to see Mariano Rivera tonight for the first time this year. The Yankees have been unable to use the back end of their bullpen because they haven't had a lead to protect. So Robertson's getting ready. Would you take Andy out despite a fairly low pitch count, or did he start to show some fatigue with those last two batters?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's possible that you know, the last two you know, hanging sliders that he threw that were hit pretty hard, you know, that might be a bit of a red flag. But Andy was really good all night. If you wanted to, you could easily run him back out there. But I think the cold weather, the fact that the bullpen's ready for work, David Robertson could use the work as well as Mariano Rivera, and that's your formula. I think that would be probably the choice that I would make. I would go to Robbie and have Mo ready to go for the ninth.
That one's driven deep to left center field. Giving chase is Ellsbury. Looking up. See ya. Home run, Cervelli. Yankees get the run back. It's 4-1.
Goodness gracious. Holy smokes. I'll tell you what, there's no breaking it down here. That ball is hit off the back wall, and there's no slowing down there. This might be a record for getting around the bases on one of the longest home runs you're going to see. That's as good as Francisco Cervelli can hit a ball right there.
Foul back.
Loud sound. Off the back wall up high. That almost made it up into the bleachers.
Concerned about the Yankees' predicted drop in power, but they have 4 home runs now in 3 games. And it's been 2 very cold nights and a fairly cold afternoon on Monday, where the ball doesn't travel that well. Grounded off the first base bag. Down the right field line. Gardner goes for 2. Here's the throw. Got him. Good throw by Victorino.
Boy, indeed it was. As you see, Gardner gets the break off the bag. Napoli diving. That's not where it went. That would have been down the line easily anyway. But Gardner, a good chancer. I didn't think there's any way Victorino's got time to get him. Gardner's booking Victorino with a perfect on-the-button throw. And that's what it took to get him.
Hits to Cano. That's right. Hitting the bag took a double away. Maybe even more, because that would have gone right down the line. Instead, the bag slowed it down and allowed Victorino to make a really good play.
Gee, Robbie's helmet's beat up for this early in the year, huh? Well, nicked up.
Right into the shift again. For the second time in the game, the ground ball to Middlebrooks.
Just a funny game, isn't it, Michael? Because there was nobody in the month of March that was hotter than Robinson Cano. MVP of the World Baseball Classic, the championship Dominican Republic team. Just could not get him out. And he will get it going again, but it was similar to last year at the end of the year. If you remember, Robinson Cano was on fire at the end of last season, and postseason, things change.
Count 1-2. Swing and a miss. Euclid down on strikes. But the Yankees get a run, and they get a loud run and a long run. Francisco Cervelli just punishes the baseball. Solo home run, 4-1 Yanks. We go to the 8th inning. Andy Pettit is still in there, and he deals a strike to Iglesias. So the oldest starter in baseball enters the 8th inning leading 4-1 on the Hyundai scoreboard. And that one is in the hole and through for a base hit. So Iglesias, the Yankees have had a hard time with him in the series, leads off with a single. You almost have to wonder, why was David Robertson warming up? And did the home run by Cervelli mean that much that you don't bring him in the game? But they're staying with Andy here. Maybe this is an attempt to slow down the running game as well. And you have lefty-lefty. Want to know?
Well, it's possible. Generally speaking, when you see a reliever like Robinson warming up at the beginning of last inning, that usually means he's coming in the game. So it's possible maybe Girardi changed his mind after the Cervelli home run.
Ground ball to first. There's one, and there's two.
Well, that changes things. The ups and downs of a reliever. You're up, you're in, no, you're not. And Andy Pettitte, once again, a big ground ball double play. The third one of the night with emphasis.
Pitch is high to Victorino.
Well, when you have a pitcher like Andy Pettitte who's been around so long and so accomplished, there's all kinds of numbers you can talk about. But against the American League East for his career, Andy's going for his 87th win. Coming into it 86-38 against the American League East, which is a .694 winning percentage, which is the best of all time for qualifying pitchers.
Picks number 91. And count 1 and 2. A reflection of Mo. Foul back. The 2-2. Grounded to short. A strong 8 innings for Andy Pettitte. The 40-year-old left-hander in his first start of the year, absolutely dominating, and will probably turn it over to Rivera in the ninth. to in part by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. By Turkey Hill, the official ice cream of the New York Yankees. And by Tri Honda. Hurry to your local Tri Honda dealer for great deals on the 2013 Pilot. So Mariano Rivera gets ready. And Mortensen deals high to Hafner. One and one. Hyundai scoreboard 4-1 Yankees. Two-run single by Overbay in the second. Solo home run by Gardner in the third. Solo home run by Francisco Cervelli in the seventh.
You know, Michael, I was watching a little bit of the Baltimore-Tampa Bay game today and saw Brian Roberts slide into second base and looked like a severe knee injury as they carried him off the field. What a tough break for a kid who's a great player, has been through so much. But again, Brian Roberts with what looked like a severe knee injury being carried off the field again today.
Missed the last couple of the seasons with concussion syndrome. Finally gets back healthy and this happens. Just awful.
And Baltimore ended up winning that game 6-3.
1-2. Missed outside.
Obviously, that had to be about pitch selection. Nobody on base, but a 3-2 count to a home run hitter.
High pop-up. Ellsbury is there, and he'll make the play for the first out. Here's Vernon Wells. They've held him down today after 3 hits yesterday, 0 for 3 today. Hit sharply to Iglesias for the second out. Mortensen trying to keep it here at 4-1 as Mariano Rivera is a spectator. He will come in, try to nail down the save. And a strike to Ichiro.
See right there in the bullpen coach Mike Harkey talking to Mariano Rivera, and that's just about the batters that he's going to face.
Ichiro, 39 years old, oldest player ever to start a season opener for the Yankees in the outfield, and the second oldest major leaguer to start his team's season opener this season. Todd Helton is 2 months older than Ichiro. And the 1-2. Hit sharply to first. Napoli beats Ichiro to the bag, and that will do it. It is time for Mariano Rivera as he begins his final season in the big leagues to try to close down this Red Sox game. So many milestones for Mariano Rivera. 608 career saves. This was moments ago. And this will be his first appearance of his final season in pinstripes. And with this appearance, he has now appeared in 19 seasons for the Yankees. That's more than any player in Yankee history, breaking a tie with Mickey Mantle, Yogi Berra, and Derek Jeter. The cameras are out. Every pitch he throws this year is going to be recorded. And forget about all the mushy stuff. Yankees want to win here.
Big spot, big game early in the year. And oh yeah, he did actually pitch 9 games last year.
43 years old. The greatest closer in baseball history. And there's a strike to Pedroia.
And it's not an easy task because he's got the middle of the lineup with the tough Dustin Pedroia leading off.
Never had a hit against Rivera. One and two. Mariano missed most of last season with a devastating knee injury. Suffered shagging fly balls in the outfield in Kansas City. And he has been shagging fly balls the first couple of days here at the stadium. Not with the same intensity, but that's how he stays in shape, and he enjoys doing it. The 1-2. 2-2.
Just to let you know,
The 2-2. Just missed. 3-2.
Woo, that was close.
Last year probably would have been Mariano's final season, but he did not want to go out on a cart in Kansas City. He really worked hard to try to get active before the end of the season. Couldn't do it. The injury was too severe. In spring training, he showed no ill effects, but he did decide to come back because he didn't want to go out that way. As Pedroia works the leadoff walk.
You see Mo tries to go front door with the cutter and just doesn't get it there. When Mariano first came up, he was more north-south, up and down in the strike zone. Nowadays, more east and west. Missed the east side of the plate there.
Andy Pettit has had this combination before. Rivera saved 68 of his wins. More than any combination since the stat became official in 1969. The 0-1. Well, Mike DeMuro is not giving him that call just off the outside corner. Johnny Gomes on deck. High fly ball, right field. Suzuki is there. One away. I asked Mariano Rivera in spring training, what happens if you save 60 games and you're just unbelievable and you have a 1.2 ERA? He said, I am going to retire no matter what happens this year. The perfect ending is that I'm on the mound to save the game in the World Series, but no matter how this turns out, this is it. My tank is close to empty. I have no more to give. Here's Johnny Gomes. Runner goes. Grounded. Fair. Over the third base bag. Wells plays it out in left field. Fires the ball into Nunez. It's a double for Gomes. And the Red Sox have runners on second and third. And just one out.
Johnny Gomes, always a good fastball hitter. Mo tries to get in on him. Johnny Gomes just keeps it fair. Right over the bag. And now the tying run is up at the plate.
Here's Will Middlebrooks. Off the end of the bat foul.
You can see that Mariano's pumped up. His cutter is more like a slider. It's really got a lot of break to it tonight. And I would expect them to stay away from Will Middlebrooks in this situation. unless it's in off the plate just for show.
And the 0-2. 1-2.
A lot of movement on that cutter tonight.
The 1-2 pitch. Soft ground ball right side. Overbay to Rivera. A run scores, it's 4-2, but the Yankees are an out away. Now, in this series, we have talked about the poise of the rookie Jackie Bradley Jr. And now, he is the last hope for the Red Sox here in the 9th inning. Facing a man 21 years older than him. And a strike. Runner at third, 2 outs. Yankees lead 4-2. 0-2. A crowd of 40,611. Rooting for one more strike. Got it. Ball game. Yankees win 4-2, and Mariano picks up his first save of his final season. And the Yankees pick up their first win. So the combination of 40-year-old Andy Pettitte and 43-year-old Mariano Rivera, just the tonic to get the Yankees in the win column, as the backdoor cutter clips the outside corner and Jackie Bradley is down looking.
That's a wicked pitch. Running back towards the block of the plate.
So everybody breathes a sigh of relief after that pitch, as the Yankees beat the Red Sox 4-2. You have to stick around for the postgame show to find out who's tonight's Chevy player of the game. So the Red Sox won on opening day. They won last night, and the Yankees get the final game of this 3-game set with a 4-2 victory. They'll head on to Detroit after this game, and they'll play the Tigers tomorrow afternoon. And Meredith Marakovits is in front of the Yankee dugout with Mariano Rivera. Meredith?
Mariano, your first time on the mound in over a year. How anxious were you to get back out there?
Anxious but patient. I was patient. I was anxious too. You know, I mean, Andy did a tremendous job. And give me the opportunity to pitch tonight. I mean, wonderful game from last year in May to April 4th. I mean, it's a long time. So, I mean, it was wonderful to be back there again.
You think about how hard you had to work to rehab and to get back out there on the mound. What did it mean to you to have success in your first time back? Well,
I mean, it paid off. You know, I mean, all that hard work and all those times that I had to be waiting and do all those things, did pay off.
Andy Pettitte has been a guy that's been around for a lot of your career. Of course, this year, last season, you've now saved 69 of his wins throughout his career. What'd you think of him tonight?
He was Andy. He was Andy. You know what I mean? Andy is those kind of guys that he was upset because he gave us that wrong. I guarantee you that. I mean, amazing guy, amazing player, and you know, I mean, thank God that he played with us.
Mariano, thanks for the time.
Thank you very much.
Send it back to you, Michael.
Well, thank you, Meredith, and thank you to Mariano. So the Yankees ride their closer for their first victory of the season. We've got a lot more to do. We'll come back, we'll wrap things up, and then it'll be time for the postgame with Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry and Meredith Marakovits. The beginning of the end starts well.